Tonight on All Systems Go, we hold ourselves to a high standard.
This episode is definitely a joint effort. All Systems Go starts right now. Hello, welcome to All Systems Go, the only show that keeps it blunt.
This episode is sure to get lit.
I'm Nick Narcotics.
And I'm Jenica Joint. Let's roll right into it.
Marvel's adapted the bad habit of releasing movie trailers later and later, making fans wait until what seems like the last minute, only to reel us back in with a teaser set to a song from the director's youth. And Thor: Love and Thunder is no exception. That's right, Thor: Love and Thunder has finally gotten a trailer, and it's a little different from any other Thor movie of the past. As soon as the trailer starts, Thor explains that he's been taking a break from hero work and is putting that energy into finding himself and what he means outside of the title of Thor. And with a little advice about life and love from Peter Quill, Thor sets off on a road trip across the galaxy where he meets new gods, sails on a pirate ship, and even has a run-in with a new Thor-wielding Mjolnir. To find out if Thor finds himself like a protagonist in an early 2000s rom-com, you can watch Thor: Love and Thunder in theaters this July 8th.
If you've been following the Chronicles of Xenoblade, get hyped! Because the new trailer reveals not only more of the new characters and the overarching mission, but also, and most importantly, a newer and earlier release date. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 takes place after the events of the aptly named Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. In the third game, you play as new characters, Noah and Mio, who lead a team of adventurers from two rival nations. They will soon discover that the source of their country's conflict while journeying to a place called Swords March, a land pierced by a giant sword. Wow, Xenoblade is really nailing it on the naming conventions. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes to Switch on July 29th. The second game and a remaster of the first game are also available for Nintendo Switch.
Move over, Sonic Generations, and Sonic Mania, and Christian Whitehead to make room for the official Genesis Sonic Collection, Sonic Origins. Right there. Announced today by Sega, Sonic Origins includes Sonic 1, 2, CD, Sonic 2, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles. That's right, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. The game includes original and widescreen ratios to choose from, along with an infinite lives mode and unlockable mirror mode. The game also lets you play as Sonic, Tails, or Knuckles for all four of the games. There's still a lot more I haven't covered, which you can see for yourself when Sonic Origins launches June 23rd for Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and PC.
Wizards of the Coast has announced the first ever D&D Direct. Get ready for exclusive content for all your Dungeons & Dragons needs, including books, video games, and more. The event will be hosted by Anna Prosser and B. Dave Walters on the Dungeons & Dragons official YouTube and Twitch channels and is expected to last for about 30 minutes, so be prepared for some awesome news. The live stream will be held tomorrow. You heard that right, tomorrow at 5 p.m., so make sure to check it out for all the latest D&D content.
Sega has reportedly started work on two big-budget reboots of their vehicular manslaughter-based video games, Jet Set Radio and Crazy Taxi. The two titles would be the first entries in Sega's Super Game Initiative, which the company announced last year. The new Crazy Taxi has already been in development for over a year, and Sega aims to release it within 2 to 3 years.
The second annual Meta Showcase has arrived. With the amount of announcements they made, there is something for everyone. And because so much was announced and we don't have so much time, here's a quick rundown of some of the things we'll be seeing in the near future or that are already out now. All right, here we go. A new Ghostbusters VR game, Resident Evil 4 The Mercenaries, The Walking Dead 2 Saints and Sinners, Chapter 2 Retribution, NFL Pro Era, Among Us VR, Red Matter 2, and so much more. To find out everything that's in store, you can check out all of MetaQuest's announcements on their Twitter page. Holy smokes, we've got some good videos coming up after the break.
How about there'll be music to our ears? All Systems Go will be right back. Brody decided to check out the updated world of LEGO Star Wars. Let's see what he's got to say.
Hello there.
LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga came out not too long ago, so here's the rundown. First things first, you're able to play through all 9 movies in the main saga, with DLC character packs I'll get to in a bit. You can play through iconic moments from the saga over the course of 45 dedicated levels, with plenty more things to do in the open world of the game, like reenacting that scene in Revenge of the Sith, or create a Wookiee army through a DLC glitch. There's also detailed cutscenes for other big moments, like Order 66 or the destruction of the Death Star.
Execute Order 66. Yay!
You get to visit iconic locations from throughout the saga, like Tatooine, Coruscant, Yavin 4, Jakku, and even the Death Star, which can be summoned to wherever you are in the galaxy. Unfortunately, you can't use it to blow stuff up, which would have been pretty cool. Another fun thing is the DLC, which, on launch, included Solo, The Mandalorian Season 1, and the bonus classic Obi-Wan Kenobi character packs. There's plenty more that'll be available, including Rogue One, The Bad Batch, and Mandalorian Season 2. One of the big elements to the game is the new combat mechanics that's been added, as well as the added emphasis on space battles, which have been redone with controls similar to that of Battlefront 2 and Squadrons. There's also skill progression, which allows you to unlock new tricks for characters based on their class. Not too much else to say with that one, pretty self-explanatory. One last thing worth mentioning is the various extras in the game, including Mumble Mode, which gives the game that nostalgic touch with no actual voices used in cutscenes and during gameplay. There's plenty more I could talk about, but if you want to check it out for yourself, go buy the game. It's out on store shelves and available online. Like, go buy it. Seriously, go buy the freaking game right now. It's amazing. Like, seriously, just go buy it.
Do it.
In this next video, Jenny got a little musical. Let's take a look.
Have you ever heard of Love Live School Idol Project? Probably not by the name, but do you recognize this? Or this?
Hit or miss, I guess they never miss, huh?
That's Love Live. Anyways, in the second season of Love Live School Idol Project, Muse, the titular school idols, are in the midst of trying to make it into Love Live, the titular school idol competition, to see which group is the best. This is their last chance to make it into Love Live. Stakes are high. During this part in the year, re-election for student council is happening. Honoka, Umi, and Katori, the second years of Muse, won and became the president in Honoka's case, and then vice presidents in Umi and Katori's cases. As they take over from Ellie and Nozomi, the old president and vice president, Honoka struggles to keep up with all her responsibilities, that being school, idol activities, and now student council. On the day of their performance, Honoka, Umi, and Katori have a big student council meeting of some sort, so they need to arrive later than the other girls. Honoka, Umi, and Katori all make it out of the meeting, only for the subway to be delayed and the traffic to be horrible because of a huge snowstorm that blew in. The three struggle to find hope that they'll make it to the performance on time, while trudging through the heavy snow. Suddenly, help arrives in the form of the entire school. All of their classmates are there to help. They offer thick boots and start to shovel the path for the three. With this new route, the second years are finally on their way. Then, once they got there, Muse finally got to perform. Now that you know the context, let's break it down. All of the tense build-up leading up to this point was well worth it. The performance is so beautiful. The song itself is a love song, not to a person, but to being an idol. It's all of Muse's love letters to their group. Leading up to this point, all of the girls struggled with their roles as idols. But now, with this song, they have all accepted themselves as Muse. Two members' struggles are especially important to keep in mind, those being Ellie and Honoka. This doesn't seem important now, but keep it on the back burner for a second. All of the members have a color they're associated with. Ellie's color is light blue and Honoka's is orange. In the first season, Ellie was Muse's biggest hater, thinking that they weren't serious enough. Honoka eventually convinced Ellie into joining Muse, finishing the lineup of the 9 members. Remember earlier when I said that Honoka took over as student council president from Ellie? Well, that's kind of important to the plot. Ellie's whole high school life was student council. Until Muse. Now, Honoka feels so confused as to who she is and what her role is. She's struggling to be Ellie 2.0 without realizing that she can just be herself. This kind of internal fight drove most of the plot of Season 2, even clouding Honoka's mind to the point where she accidentally ignored Kotori, her best friend, for a long time. Kotori had a huge decision to make and wanted Honoka's help, but every single time Kotori wanted help, Honoka had other priorities. Finally, in Honoka's chorus in Snow Halation, the stage lights all switched from light blue, Ellie's color, to orange, Honoka's color. This mirrors Honoka finally being able to find herself and accept herself as being Honoka, not as having to be Ellie 2.0. This shift is not only important for Honoka's character, but it's so important for setting the vibe for the rest of the season, the movie, and the rest of the franchise. In universe, Aqua, the group from Love Live Sunshine, even idolized Muse and aspired to be just like them from this performance. Overall, Snow Halation, other than being a banger, was just so plot juicy I couldn't help but talk about it. A year ago, I even called my sister for 15 minutes just to ramble about it. Anyways, watch Love Live.
After the break, we'll join Liam and the cast as they dive into the world of Kingdom Hearts. All systems go. We'll be right back.
Oh, baby, don't go. Oh, my bad. I guess we are live. Sorry about that, guys. Welcome back to All Systems Go, and it's Liam, and on today's discussion panel, we are having Tony, David, and Kayla here, who know very little about the story of Kingdom Hearts, and they're going to try to explain it to Eric and I, whom are big fans of the show, and I'm excited to hear what they think the story is and what they have to say. For show.
Right, okay, so we got game 1, guys. And so we have this kid named Sora, and he's on this like island thing, and he's got 2 friends, this red hair girl named Kari or Carrie or something. Sure, whatever. And then there's this guy who's just like, I'm so much better than you, fight me all the time. You had like a sword battle with him or something. Yeah, sure. And then on the side plot, there's like King Mickey's like missing or something. So Donald and Goofy and Pluto are like, oh gosh, we have to find him.
Yeah, and also just random Final Fantasy characters and other Square Enix properties just pop out of nowhere.
Yes.
Basically, Mickey sends Goofy and Donald to go find the main protagonist of the 8th Final Fantasy, Leon, and basically, is it Leon? Leo something with an L, and basically they send him on the big adventure, and they go on, they go to different Disney worlds. They go to Alice in Wonderland, what else?
Little Mermaid.
Aladdin,
I think that's in the first game.
Peter Pan,
Hercules.
Hercules is the big.
You're missing like 3. Like that's still pretty solid.
Yeah, for the first game too. That's like a good amount of the
Yeah,
world.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
There's like these little black creatures, like they're called Heartless.
There we go. I was like, what are they called?
Yeah. So then there's also these, and I don't know if this is the first or second game, but there's like these hooded guys, and they all have an X in their name.
Organization, what, 7?
No, you are
Close.
wrong.
Very close for different
They all
reasons.
have an X in their name, and that's like important.
Yeah.
That's
That's what their number is, and I'll tell you, their Organization 13. That's the number you were looking for.
And here's the
7's a
thing.
whole different thing.
I heard apparently they're nobodies.
Yeah, they're
but
nobodies.
at the same time, it's like they're a nobody to a somebody.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I'm like, I
with
don't.
it.
You're on
It's
the ball
like
so
I
far.
never understood that because I'm like, it's two. So like 2 separate people make one whole person,
we
or is
allowed
it
to
like
explain, or-
I?
I think we can explain this right now because I don't feel like you're gonna get that. You want to explain the nobodies real quick?
All right, cool. If you fall to darkness or a heartless gets your heart, you also become a heartless. But if you have enough will, your body lingers on and you become a nobody, but without your emotions and stuff. That's what Organization 13
Yeah, they say they have no emotions, but they're literally like always showing emotion.
Well, we know why eventually.
Yeah.
I was about to say, isn't there like one that's like a rock star?
There
Yes.
is.
Yeah, there is.
See, I've
They all
played
look like
some
rock
of them,
stars.
but I've only played like 3 of the games, so it's like it's a little misconstrued for me a little bit. I don't.
David, what are you thinking right now? What are your thoughts?
I never played the game before. The only place I first heard it from is the Disney Wiki online.
Honestly, that's all you
if
need
you
to
just
know.
had to like guess just the plot a little bit, just like give me like
From knowing that there's Disney people,
like
what
a
do you think
10-word
happens?
summary of something. Like what would you say?
What do you think happens?
Disney characters help Sora defeat whoever the bad guy is.
I mean, I feel like that's accurate. I feel like that's there's a villain there somewhere.
Yes, there's a,
Yeah, so do you remember who the villain is?
yeah, it's Dr. Eggman.
Hades.
Close.
Hades. It's
Hades.
Hades is one of them. So Maleficent is like a villain, but she's only like the side villain. She's
No,
like,
but she's like the villain of the side.
But she's the red herring. There's an actual bigger villain, dude named in white hair, who's the bad guy, but actually the
All right,
yes,
we need to get to game 2.
the bad
Yeah,
guy, but the good
Guys,
guy.
okay, so then there's the game 2, and then there's like Roxas, I think his game 2, and like
Yeah, I
he
love him. He's
has,
my favorite
he's
character.
got some buddies, and they sit on a clock, and then they eat popsicles. I think that's that
yeah,
game.
they eat
It's
sea
sea
salt
salt.
popsicles.
Yes,
Ice.
okay,
So ice.
and then there's this girl, and her name's Namine, and she's the most beautiful,
Namine!
and she's the best Kingdom Hearts character, and that's all I know. Is she makes drawings? She makes drawings of her and I think Roxas or someone, and she's important. She's really important.
Yeah,
she's like super
here's
important.
the thing, Sora gets into a coma. And Sora gets into a coma, and then there's
What?
this guy named Roxas
That's correct.
who comes out of nowhere. And Roxas apparently is the nobody to Sora's somebody, and I'm assuming that he got made because
Roxas is Sora with an X, and that's how you know.
wait, really?
Yes.
I know.
That's how
Yeah,
you
I
know.
was surprised that you didn't know that part, but Kayla did know that part. It's the whole thing when he's introduced. They like shuffle
Yeah,
around
it's like
Sora's
Sora,
name and
and
then
then
just
it's-
go X right in the middle.
Yeah, I remember seeing like a clip of that or something.
Yeah, it's a good scene. He's a very sad story. I love
Right.
Roxas. He's the best. He's Sora's nobody.
This is only like the first 2 games we
Makes me cry.
described.
Well,
It's
And
like,
Hercules is in
there's,
it too, I think.
There's the first game, and then you got
Chain of
Chain of
Memories.
Memories. That's where like
Yeah.
Sora goes and loses his memory.
Hate that
And
game.
Gets
then like
Alzheimer's.
yeah, there you
that the
go.
one
And then
with
Riku's
Stitch
in
in
there,
it?
and then
Which
he puts
one's-
on the blindfold, and then they put Roxas comes in at the end, you know, and there's 358 days out of 2.
That's like comes
Which
out
one's
later,
got
though.
But isn't that
Stitch in it?
before Kingdom Hearts 2? That's before Kingdom Hearts 2. You
It
played
takes
That's the
that.
only
place
one I
before
care
too, but
about.
they
It
want you
came
to
out
play
after.
to first.
Dang.
Hey Liam, which one's got Stitch in it?
That's Birth by Sleep and 2. They both
Why
have
are
it.
so
isn't?
many?
Yeah,
No,
I was supposed to say
swear.
Stitch is like a partner,
It's like
like
a
a
Twin
Disney.
Wolf
All right,
franchise.
guys. I am sorry to cut you guys off here, but
We
we are
didn't even
out
get
of
to the third
time, and we
game.
have sullied this comment section enough. So coming up, we have the next installment to Nick's Uncharted Review Cinematic Universe. Does he like the game? Will he talk about Subway? Guess you'll have to stick around to find out. Eat fresh.
What's this? The next installment of Nick's Uncharted series? Well, roll the video.
Hi, I'm Nick Thaman. This is my audition to be a voice actor and to prove that it's easy. Hey, I'm Nathan Drake. If you're the Avengers type like me, then get in on the Subway Taste for Adventure for a chance to win epic trips and exclusive access to Uncharted 3. Get your code on 30-ounce drinks today. Subway, where winners eat. Ow.
Coming off the heels of Uncharted 2, Naughty Dog now had to one-up themselves with an even bigger and better third title, Uncharted 3. Now, when it came to the direction of the series, Naughty Dog had 2 wolves inside of them to listen to. The Uncharted 1 route, an emphasis on combat and expanded weapon types, maybe even improved stealth mechanics, or the Uncharted 2 route, leaning more into specific set pieces and iconic moments. Regardless if they fit cohesively into the story or not, they went with this one. Early in development, the writers for Uncharted 3 were told by Naughty Dog that this would be the final Uncharted game. So, what probably happened is that they had all these cool ideas for gameplay moments they wanted to fit in, but they only had one game to do it. So, as a result, we're whipping from location to location across the globe with characters being introduced, add nothing, and then leave. There's too many stories trying to be told at once, and even though the writers were eventually told this wouldn't be the final game, they never commit to a singular narrative they want to tell, making the final product just really convoluted and also feel half-baked. With all that being said, let's get started. Uncharted 3 opens with Nathan Drake beating the shit out of a room full of British people, so disregard everything I just said, it's not my favorite game. Drake is only thwarted by the first and only British man to wield a firearm. Also Sully. They killed Sully again. This sends us into a flashback where Drake and Sully meet for the first time, 20 years ago, in Colombia. okay? This isn't some iconic duo we were all desperate to get the origin of. If you remember, Sully's absent in the majority of the last 2 games. I will say, 13-year-old Drake finally starts to resemble Tom Holland, so the producers likely used those mental gymnastics as the excuse to put Tom Spider-Man in the video game movie. Through all the walking simulators, we get one sequence with a chase scene across city rooftops, but the only difference here is now you sometimes press X when holding forward. Uncharted 3 has a lot of sequences like this, where you just hold forward and walk. No gameplay, no challenge, just hold forward. And yeah, maybe back in 2011, those graphics would have blown my socks clean off my piggies. And you can disguise boring gameplay behind stunning visuals, but when those visuals don't look quite as stunning 11 years later, all you're left with is a cutscene that requires you to hold forwards. I feel like this is the authentic Uncharted movie viewing experience. Speaking of holding forwards, back to London! No, anywhere but London! So they're not dead, they faked it. Duh. I saw your face, you were scared, right? That's right, I can see you through your screen. Fix your posture. Here we meet Cutter, a super important addition to the narrative that definitely doesn't break his leg during Act 1 and is never mentioned again. Anyways, off to a French jungle. What? What about a French jungle?
Leave it to you to find a friggin' jungle in the middle of France.
I'm sorry, the mansion's on fire now and you have to escape it? Don't think, just run! It looks cool, doesn't it? What do you mean you don't know what's going on? Yeah, this is a theme with Uncharted 3 you'll pick up on pretty fast, and that's that individually these levels are all cool. Putting them in context with a larger story, not only do they start becoming repetitive, but they don't feel super connected. Basically, Uncharted 3 doesn't know what story it wants to tell. I just don't get why we need Cutter and Chloe in this game at all. Like, they both dip after like 2 levels and don't really add anything to the story later characters couldn't do. There's a whole section in Lebanon where the game introduces this new vertical cover shooting mechanic that's actually a really good and interesting addition to the gameplay. And it's used like twice ever. But no, it's absolutely crucial to the experience that we watch Drake spend 45 seconds squeezing through this gap. Okay, so forget all the characters you spent the first half of the game with. We're not seeing them ever again. Elena's back now, and she calls into question Drake's motivation for all of this in the first place.
Why this obsession? I'm just worried.
I can take care of myself, all right?
I'm not talking about you.
What, Sully?
He would go to the ends of the earth for you, Nate. Just don't ask him to.
Drake's ego is getting in the way of his relationships. The game is setting up this dilemma where he needs to choose between the luster of adventure and the people he loves. I wonder how Naughty Dog develops this. Oh, they don't. And he gets everything at the end and learns nothing? Maybe trying to create a narrative around cool PlayStation 3 eye candy rather than character motivation is a bad idea. Maybe this will lead to a bunch of arcs set up and then never completed. Maybe it's bad writing. What? Maybe it's delivery. No, it's DiGiorno! In order to wheel us off to the next blockbuster scene, Naughty Dog's constantly resetting the character motivations, leaving them to pick and choose when Drake's actions have consequences. And it makes you feel as the player as though you just slogged through another bloated cutscene disguised as gameplay for nothing. This is demonstrated perfectly in the shipyard level, where you fight through all these guys and climb all this stuff in pursuit to save Sully, who's now been kidnapped. It's maybe my favorite part of the game, and it ends with Drake escaping a sinking ship and getting stranded at sea. He never finds Sully.
He's not here.
The next day, he fights his way to a plane, which just like the boat, leads to a crashing sequence where Drake has to escape and is left stranded in the desert. These happen back to back. So what was the point of the first one? Listen, I get that you thought that it would make a cool gameplay moment, but at least act like it matters to the narrative. Now, the plane scene was something Naughty Dog was clearly very proud of, making it the box art, putting it in the release trailer. Hell, it's even in the movie. The plane crash scene is like the perfect encapsulation of the design philosophy for Uncharted 3. We've got innovative climbing mixed with cover shooting, and like I've said, combining those two brings out the best in Uncharted. But then pretty quickly, cinematic takes over, where you hold forward and do a QuickTime event. And the scene that's in all the trailers and the box art and all that stuff, a 10-minute walking simulator. 10 minutes of walking. I don't care that the developers put all of this time and effort into all these walking animations. It's boring. But hey, at least it looks cool. I'll give Naughty Dog this. The last third of the game, aka the desert portion, provides the longest stretch of a single cohesive narrative. And frankly, the whole game should have been like this. It's fun, there's lots of cool action, cool memorable gameplay moments, basically Uncharted 2 2. But then we get to the climax, aka where all the nonsensical narrative threads pretend like they fit together. And it goes something like this. All right, Uncharted 3, you've set up a lot of narrative threads in this game. How do you plan on bringing it all together? Sully's dead again. Psych! I tricked ya. Again, you thought actions have consequences? Well, think again. But you said they do. Well, I guess I changed my mind. Also, the game is over now. Uncharted 3 needs to be the game where Drake really loses, making him reconsider his treasure hunting lifestyle altogether. This concept is alluded to a couple times, but they never commit because Uncharted 3 doesn't know what story it wants to tell, spending too much time in irrelevant eye candy and walking simulators so Naughty Dog can show off. So it ends with a totally happy ending, and Drake learns nothing. But at least Uncharted 4 pretends like he did. After the break, the cast will get together to talk about their favorite types of grass-type Pokemon. Plus, we'll get a rundown of a movie that makes us question what we believe in. All systems go. We'll be right back.
Today, on this completely normal day of the year that has absolutely no alternative meanings, we'll be playing Guess That Pokémon! With Pokemon that are completely random and have absolutely nothing in common and nothing to do with this, the day of our Lord, 420. So, the rules of this game are very simple. You'll see a silhouette of a Pokemon, and you just have to guess that Pokemon. And Alexa's here to keep score. Are you guys ready?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Do you like my hat?
It's lovely.
Thank you. We can continue.
Alrighty. Pokemon number 1. Nick.
Pikachu.
It's Clefairy. I'm just joking. It's not. Mickey.
I'm gonna mess up the name. It's like Ferrosect or something.
Close, but no cigar.
Is it
Jacob.
Pharaoh Seed?
Ding, 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 ding. That's a point for Jacob. Oh, we have a sound effect. That's so neat.
That's a spiky boy.
A nice
It's a spiky lad.
Very spiky indeed. Well, let's spike it on over to this next Pokemon. Guess that Pokemon. Nikki.
Pansage.
That is correct.
Oh, another grass monkey.
It's kind of got a little
broccoli
broccoli
boy.
on his head.
Little broccoli monkey.
He does gotta have that broccoli dough.
He do.
Everyone's favorite broccoli monkey.
A broccoli cut.
I don't have a pun for this, but on to Pokemon 3. Nick.
Pikachu.
I'm sorry. Once again, it's not Pikachu. I'm really sorry, bud. Nikki.
Slowbro.
So proud.
Oh,
look at him, man.
Is
just
Slowbro.
That's
Pikachu
true.
was
in the
close though.
sun.
Pikachu was very close.
I was close.
You'll get it next time.
Yeah.
This banter is kind of getting slow, so let's go on to Pokemon number 4. Yes, set.
It's a Jigglypuff when you're looking down at it.
Close. Nikki.
Pikachu.
Really close.
I was gonna say that.
Jacob.
Goldeen.
Also close. Nick.
Raichu.
Very close. Nikki.
Oddish.
So proud. It was an odd-ish
I did it.
picture
You
of
know
it.
what? Now when you look at it, you can see it perfectly.
when you look
like,
at
I
it
don't know
now.
how we
Oh,
didn't get
the
it.
things on top.
How didn't I notice that was oddish?
Yeah, it's like the perfect shape.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to tell with just the silhouette. But on to Pokemon the next one. Yes, set.
Bulbasaur?
I'm so sorry, bud. Jacob.
I'm gonna take a chance and say Chansey.
I'm sorry, bud.
No!
It was a good pun. I'm very proud.
I know this one isn't Pikachu, so I'm not gonna guess Pikachu.
Nikki, is that a hand raise?
Blissey? Is the evolved form of Chansey.
It is true.
So,
It is
oh yeah,
true.
Chansey's a little baby.
We've had enough bliss with this one. Let's go on to the next Pokemon.
Oh, this one's Pikachu.
Nick, you are so close. Seth.
Spheal.
No. Jacob.
Dugong.
Ding.
Yeah, we got
Different
I thought you
different
made that
seal. Different one.
No. It's time to do Gone. On to the next Pokemon. I'm sorry, guys.
This is becoming a stretch.
It's always been a stretch.
What in the world is that?
Seth?
Fruitcake.
We're a bit fruity on this show, but it's not a fruitcake.
Amoongus. That is a real Pokemon. It is.
Did you say Among Us?
I said Amoongus.
That's a little sus, bud.
That's a real
And also
Pokemon,
incorrect.
I promise you.
It looks like an Oddish that ate like a lot of other Oddishes.
Oh,
Fat
no.
Oddish.
Oh,
So
no.
the oddest.
Big
Oddish.
On
I don't know.
this one's actually a Bonsui.
Oh, you know what?
Oh, now I see.
You know what? You know what? It's obvious now.
Yeah,
It's from the
yeah,
view
it
when
was-
you're looking down at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was just like it was angled a little weird.
Yeah.
You guys understand. But on to the next. Seth had his hand up first. Sorry.
Mr. Steak?
Nick.
Pikachu. Dang it!
So close. Nikki, is that a hand raise?
Mewtwo.
Incorrect. I'm so sorry. Jacob?
Is it Bayleaf?
It is indeed.
Oh, I remembered the name.
Dang it!
Of the
So
other
very
two
proud.
forms.
And that makes our winner, Nikki, with 4 wins, followed closely by Jacob with 3 wins. And that is all of the points we've given out. And we'd like to spend more time on this segment. But unfortunately, we have to blow this joint and get on to the next segment. Don't worry, though, because this next video is sure to be dynamite. You might think, maybe, you might think you're past your pun limit, but just you wait. Can this episode get any punnier? You bet your ass it can.
Hi, I'm Max.
And I'm Jenna.
And today we're going to be watching The Velocipaster.
Holy f***. Spoiler warning for the hit 2018 movie Velocipaster.
Velocipaster follows Doug, a Converse-wearing pastor whose life is changed after his parents die in an extremely graphic car explosion.
After an orphan Doug is left questioning his faith, Doug's mentor, Father Stewart, tells Doug to go as far from God as possible. Where is that? China! Not racist at all.
There, in the Midwestern wilderness of China, Doug stumbles upon a woman dressed in what appears to be a child's karate outfit. After she's hit by an arrow, her dying request to Doug is to destroy an ancient artifact of some kind. Unfortunately, Doug doesn't speak whatever racist version of Chinese she's speaking, so he ignores her.
Then we meet Carol, an absolute girl boss who's making her money by... Anyway, and her unlawful employer, Frankie Mermaid. Why is he called Frankie Mermaid? Cause he's swimming in bitches. Frankie Mermaid tells Carol to solicit her business in the park. There she ends up getting mugged.
But that's when she's rescued by Doug, who had transformed into a velociraptor thanks to the artifact that we mentioned earlier. Doug beheads the mugger in yet another extremely graphic scene before passing out.
He wakes up in Carol's twin bed, butt naked. That's when Carol drops the news on him. 1, despite the awkward initial assumption that he broke his chastity oath, he's still a virgin. 2, he turned into a velociraptor and killed somebody.
Doug understandably panics, but Carol is all for the prehistoric priest vigilante moonlighting. She tries to convince him to use his powers to rid the world of evil. But he's not on board until he goes to confessional and is confronted by Frankie Mermaid, who reveals that he was the one who killed Doug's parents, upon the request of some higher-ups. Doug promptly murders him.
He then apparently breaks into Carol's room and announces that he murdered Mermaid. Despite having her sole source of income stripped away, she seems pretty chill about it. Doug confesses his sins to Father Stewart, who suggests he go to an exorcism. At the exorcism, we meet Altair, who Father Stewart seems to know, except we don't get to learn how.
Flashback to the Vietnam War. Father Stewart, looking more youthful than ever, talks to his friend Allie. Allie tells Father Stewart to name one of his 11 future children after him before promptly dying. But it's okay because Father Stewart's sweetheart is somehow also in Vietnam to comfort him. And then she steps on a landmine and dies.
Moving on! Back to the occult. In an attempt to exorcise Doug, Altair accidentally unleashes the velociraptor within. Losing control, Doug enucleates Father Stewart. Enucleate, an archaic transitive verb meaning to remove an eyeball.
Panicked, Doug rushes back to Carol and officially breaks his oath to God in a tantric, clothes-on sex scene / music video montage that recaps the entirety of the film thus far. The next morning, ninjas break in through the conveniently open windows, and Doug and Carol beat the out of them.
Cut to Father Stewart, who wakes up in a cocaine Christian ninja camp populated by mostly white guys and the camp leader, Wei Chan. They show Father Stewart their devious plan to get people hooked on Christianity using the power of Jesus and crack cocaine, baby.
When Father Stewart refuses to join, they murder him. Then Doug and Carol prepare for battle. Doug has a leather jacket now that he's not a virgin.
Doug and Carol face off against the ninjas. When we find out that, gasp, Doug's brother, who was apparently emotionally abused by the entire family, is one of the head ninjas. The battle begins, and Doug pulls a Mjolnir with a sword to kill his brother.
Then, Carol gets slashed with a katana and dies. Who could have seen that? Female lead dying. Okay, well, whatever. Carol tries to deliver a dying speech, but Doug cuts her off. Doug transforms into a velociraptor to fight off the ninjas. Then Wei Chan shoots Doug with an arrow. The arrow contains an anti-venom that's supposed to counteract Doug's velociraptor-ness, but apparently it doesn't work on his hands.
In a final, extremely graphic, violent beheading scene, Doug kills Wei Chan.
Now, a moment of silence for Carol. Just kidding, she's fine.
In the epilogue, we learn that Doug has left the church and with a $1 billion bounty on his head, plans to travel the world to take down the rest of the cocaine Christians. I think this movie does what all good movies should do. Entertain. And for that reason, I give it an 8.5.
Work of art. 10. Actually, no, minus points for the racism. And if you think we're being facetious, here's a list of feature films that rank lower than Velocipaster on Rotten Tomatoes. Man, I can't wait to show this video to AS.
Weird. This piece of paper says amazing chest ahead. Well, I don't know what that has to do with this next video, but let's check it out, I guess.
You're taking a stroll through the lands that are filled with so much despair and depravity. Lands that are just overflowing with the most horrid abominations that have no right to exist. Sometimes, you just need someone special to be by your side. Someone that'll really help you to get through it all. Let's take a look at the 5 most stunning and breathtaking individuals this series has in store for us. This is the top 5 Souls waifus. Now before we kick off this list, I do want to make an honorable mention. Since, I still haven't finished Elden Ring. I can't really put someone on this list here because of that. But I'll be sure to give plenty of love to
the loathsome dung eater, dastardly do devourer, freaky fecal feaster.
What a lovable individual. Now, starting off our list at number 5 is...
My name is Kungfu Masataka Oniwa!
The man who needs no introductions because he just shouted them to the high heavens for all to hear. I mean, what a man we have to start off with. He's an expert in the equine arts. He clearly knows how to both protect and attack. And you'll always know when he's around.
My name!
Now, granted, you might start off on the wrong foot. But you just gotta understand, he takes boundaries very seriously. Once you have a clear understanding of this, I'm sure you two will get along just fine. Coming in at number 4, we have the Dancer of the Boreal Valley from Dark Souls 3. I mean, come on now. She's got everything. She's tall, she moves with grace, and she can leave you dead without a trace.
I love the kind of woman that can kick my ass.
Speaking of which, the dancer is certainly well known for her assets. And I ain't talking about those murderous blades.
Damn, boy, he's thick!
Gale ain't the only one with some cake in this world. Waking up in the 3rd spot, we have the doll from Bloodborne. With a world that's filled with beasts, disease, and eldritch horrors that should never be witnessed by any mortal eyes, This is the kind of place where you desperately need someone to look after you, just to keep your sanity. And so is the job of the doll. A kind caretaker with a tall and graceful image and a very gentle, soothing voice to ease your troubles. She's also directly modeled after Lady Maria, only the most renowned and badass huntress Yarnum had ever seen. Though, just as a warning, you will need to understand a little eldritch truth if you want to even perceive her. And she is still a doll through and through. So, if dolls are a bit of a red flag for you, she might not be your go-to. Now, making a very large entrance here at number 2 is 2 gigantic bosses that you have to kill to get to this next waifu, Guinevere, the Princess of Sunlight. After fighting the 2 big boys, you're blessed with the bigger, better, bodacious beauty of Guinevere. I mean, just look at her. She's humongous. What more could you ask for than a woman who's 50 times your size? Huh. Maybe I just have a thing for giant women. Well, either way, there's no denying Guinevere is a big fan favorite in the series. Even though she has a weird thing with wanting you to become like her dad, and also the problem that she's actually an illusion, that can be a problem for some. But hey, with such an amazing chest ahead, I think I'm willing to go with the lie here.
The lie will remain a lie.
And finally, for the number 1 waifu in the Souls series, I can think of no one better to give it to than the Maiden in Black from Demon Souls. The land of Boletaria is absolutely riddled with demons who are constantly seeking to kill as many people as possible and steal their souls to empower themselves. It's not a fun world to live in by any means. But whenever the weight of your journey is getting to be too much, you can always head on back to the Nexus, where the Maiden in Black will be eagerly waiting for your return. She's perhaps one of the most easing parts of the entire experience. She's always looking out for what you need, and helps guide you to make sure you can stop the spread of the demons. She's a kind and thoughtful individual that wants nothing more than to see you succeed, truly deserving of the number 1 spot. And, well, she's also got feet. So if that's something you're into, then, hey, that's sure to be a bonus. But of course, all of these lovely individuals we discussed have plenty of reasons to love them. What's that? I didn't talk about Dark Souls 2 at all? Well, there's a very simple reason. It sucks.
It's beautiful here. It's coming down. I'm an untrained meteorologist reporting on the snow. I mean, it's in the streets. Damn!
Tom Hiddleston.
I'm the Velocipaster.
No!
That's it for this week.
You were my brother, Loki.
But don't worry. We got an extra special, extra long episode to end the season for you all next Wednesday.
And of course, don't forget to follow our social media in the meantime so you can keep up on all things. All Systems Go.
I'm Jenica Jenick.
And I'm Nick Thaman. All Systems Go, signing off.